Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can see from the title, we have a bit of a book haul, and this is going to be the final book haul for the year of 2025. Is this going to be the last of the books I buy for the year? Probably not, let's be honest. But it's at least the last full sit-down video I'll do going through some books that I've bought recently. And I think most of this is stuff I've bought over the past couple months, I think since July, August. So I thought I'd do a little sit down because I've got a full stack here that's just been piling up, and I'm I need to get these off my floor and finally show you. So I figure we can go through them. And I say I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories I can go through. So I figure let's just kick this off and get right into it. I will say, let's start with our first category. Let's start with the first category of books I've already talked about because these are books I got from the Las Vegas Book Festival. So I did talk about them in that vlog. So I'm not going to take too long on these. I'm just going to go through them kind of rapid fire. But first up, I mentioned that video I went to a panel for. It was a fantasy panel. Technically it was more fantasy romance. But on that panel was Brigid Kemmerer, who is the author of Warrior, Princess, Assassin. So I picked this up while I was there. This follows a warrior, princess, and assassin. I know, shocking. I guess the princess must marry the warrior in an arranged marriage, and the assassin and the princess are childhood friends. The assassin finds out that someone has put, I guess, a hit out on the warrior and the princess, and he goes to, I guess, warn them, protect them, and it is polyamorous. So I was very interested in that, and I really enjoyed seeing Brigid Kemmerer and hearing her talk about her process and hearing everyone on the panel talk about their process. I thought it was super fun. So this is one of the books I got from that panel. And then I also got The Starlight Heir by Amelie Howard. I am not sure what this one is about. I do know this is also spicy. Oh, this one is about, is she a princess? I don't know, but she gets invited to the palace, and I think she has to go out and find something with the brother, the illegitimate brother of the crown prince or the crown king, and that kicks off from there, and they fall in love. That's as much as I know about this, but I have this one, and then last one from that panel is The Floating World and The Demon in Light by Axio. These are both YA, and this one just came out, I think, earlier this month. No, earlier in October, I believe, because I got this a couple days early because they were selling some early copies. So I got both of these because I figured why not. And this one did sound very interesting. And I'd seen this one pretty much everywhere. This one, along with Warrior, Princess, Assassin, I'd seen people talk about this before and say they really like it. So I wanted to give it a try. She said this is Studio Ghibli meets, Final Fantasy, which I have zero experience with either of those two things. So I can't really super tell you if that's when I read it, if it'll match up to that. But it did sound really interesting. And again, I really enjoyed seeing Axio at the panel. So I got both of these books while I was there. And the other panel I was on was for authors who they write contemporary romances, but they're retellings of either Jane Austen or Shakespeare. And the first author that I got one from was J.C. Lee, who was also on the fantasy panel. She had another book. I'll put it up on the screen if I can. If I find a picture of it. She said this one was for sure going to cure your K-pop Demon Hunter hangover. Now, I've never watched that movie, so again, if I read this, I can't really tell you why. But that also sounds interesting. I wanted to watch the movie, so I definitely want to give the book a shot. But she also had this book, Give Me a Reason, which I believe is a Persuasion retelling, but it follows a K-drama actress. So this one sound fun. I got one from everyone that was at the panel, so I got one from J.C. Lee, and especially wanted to get one because I couldn't get her other one because that one was sold out. So I got this one from that panel, and then I also got one from Nikki Payne, Pride and Protest, which this is one that I had heard of before going to the panel. I'm pretty sure this was out a few years ago. I thought this was YA, but I may be mistaken. I could have sworn it was. I don't think it is from the way she was talking about it. And this is a Pride and Prejudice retelling, obviously. And then she has a second book that I think is called actually, I don't remember what it's called, but there's a second book to this. And this one, again, sounded fun, sounded kind of up my alley. And then the last one on that panel was Priscilla Oliveros with West Side Love Story. And the way she explained this was very interesting because this is kind of a retelling of, it's a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, but also West Side Story, which, West Side Story is also based off of Romeo and Juliet. So she puts kind of that play and then the musical of West Side Story, and she kind of mashes them together to make West Side Love Story. And she did that with her other book as well, which was, I think it was Call Me Catalina, which is a retelling of, I want to say, The Taming of the Shrew and Call Call Me Kate, which is the musical. But again, this one sounds fun. It follows a like family that is a part of a mariachi band, and then I think she falls in love with a rival mariachi band member. So I got this one. And then last book was The Divorcitante. This was actually the first book I got at the festival. This was the first table I saw when I walked in. I met Mile Heinzelman. She was so sweet. She was so nice. And this was actually a book I saw on NetGalley that I wanted to try, but it was like super close to the publishing date that I didn't do it. So I'm glad that I got a copy of this, and it sounds fun. She says this is kind of like the upper elite, I believe, in like Georgia, and them just being like messy. So I love that. I feel like it's kind of giving, was it Real Housewives of Atlanta? And I feel like I used to watch it with my mom. Like when I was young, I remember she used to have it on, and then I would like kind of be watching it off and on. But I think that's the only one she ever used to watch it, and then she only watched like a couple seasons. But it sounds like that, so I'm like, that seems like it'd be fun, you know? Next up, we've got a small stack of some new releases. First up are both my copies of Mate by Ellie Hazelwood. I have already read this. I have a full vlog reading this and actually going to buy this copy because I bought this copy online. It took forever to get here. And what's annoying is that because I wanted to read this so badly, I went on a Friday, picked this up, read it, finished it. And when I was like 30% from the end, this got delivered. Even though it told me it wouldn't get delivered till like 3 days later. Anyways, I loved this. I gave it 5 stars. This was hands down, I think my favorite Ellie Hazelwood. Now it has dethroned Bride because I did love Bride. I gave Bride 5 stars as well. But this one, I think, tops it just a little bit. And I had such a good time with this. We follow Serena and Cohen, who I believe we meet Serena. Yeah, we meet Serena in the first book. I don't remember if we met Cohen in the first book. I think we did because he is like good friends with the male love interest from the first book. So this was so much fun. I enjoyed this. And I highly recommend it. I do think some people say like it kind of slows down in the middle because we feel like we focus a lot on this like other side plot, which we did, but like I feel like it didn't bother me as much. But I was just really, I really loved Serena and Cohen. I loved everything about them. It was so good. Next, I have Wild Reverence by Miss Rebecca Ross. I have read the first like 12-ish chapters of this because Macmillan had like a sneak peek of the first 12 chapters on NetGalley. So I started this and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so good. I have not continued on, unfortunately, and I really need to, especially so I don't forget like what happened in the beginning. I think I read basically all of part 1. Yeah, because now I'm on part 2, which is like 100 almost 130 pages in. So I want to continue on with this. I was hesitant because I wasn't sure if I should read this before reading Divine Rivals, because that duology, like the gods that are in that duology, that's the gods we're following in this. But I did see a comment somewhere where someone said they recommended reading this first. So like I'm rolling with that. All I need is that one person to tell me. So I'm going to continue on with this. And then I will probably go on to read Divine Rivals if I really enjoy this, because I do really like the writing style in this. It does, it feels kind of like a fairy tale. And it feels very whimsical. And I feel like that's kind of the vibe she's going for. So I really enjoyed this. Last up for new releases, sort of, because I have special editions next, which are also new releases, but this is like my last standard new release, is King Sorrow by Joe Hill. This is Joe Hill's first, or his like fantasy debut, because if you don't know, Joe Hill is a horror author. He's also the son of Stephen King. So big horror guy, and this is his first fantasy, which I think the like granted on Goodreads the like second genre is horror, but I've learned that the shelves on Goodreads, or the genres they give you on Goodreads, are really just what people shelve it as. So whether or not this is actually has that much horror in it, I don't know, but I do know it was marketed as his first fantasy because there is, you know, this dragon in it that the people at this school have to like sacrifice people to, and if they stop sacrificing people to this dragon, the dragon's gonna start sacrificing them. I think that's like very top level, high level, broad explanation of what this book is about. It sounded really good to me, at least. And I have read from Joe Hill before. I read Nosferatu. I didn't love that, but I still wanted to give something else a try. I have read from Stephen King as well, but I've only read The Shining and the sequel, which was Doctor Sleep. So I'm not super versed within the Stephen King, Joe Hill verse, but I figured a fantasy probably would hit more for me than the horror, because I feel like horror could be hit or miss, but I wanted to give this a shot. It is so long. It's a brick. I think it's like almost, I think it's over 800 pages. Yeah, 850 pages. Well, longer than that. There's an epilogue, but the epilogue is not numbered, so, it randomly, it stops numbering and then it randomly picks up numbering at 877 pages. So like she's long. She's almost 900 pages. Next up, we have a stack of some special editions that I want to go through. I'm going to go through first. I mentioned in my last haul video that I was getting a set of special editions in for a few books that I hadn't come in yet, but I did like show their pictures, but I have them now, so I'm going to show them to you. First up is the 3 books in Malazan, Book of the Fallen from the Broken Binding, which are fucking beautiful. I'm obsessed with these editions. Like, look at these spines. They are stunning, amazing, beautiful. I know. Let's go through each one, and I'll just kind of give you kind of brief, show you what each one has. I haven't really even looked at these that closely because, like, I feel like sometimes they can be a little spoilery. I don't want to spoil myself, but here is the naked hardcover spine in the back, and then we have our end pages. Beautiful, I know. Oh, I don't think I showed you the full cover either. We're going to be skipping things. If you don't know, Malazan Book of the Fallen is a very popular high fantasy series by Steven Erikson, and it's one of those ones where this is the second book, Dead House Gates, that people say is like very intimidating because Steven Erikson does not hold your hand when he's going through this story. You really are just kind of thrown into this world, and you like sink or swim. You got to try your best. And I've heard a lot of times, or at least people don't recommend reading or exclusively doing the audiobooks, because in the physical book, when like you change POV from a character, there's like a line break, so it's kind of obvious, okay, we're switching, or at least you can figure out, okay, we're switching based on the line break. But obviously you can't really see a line break in an audiobook, and it doesn't really like notify you that a POV has changed, so people get really confused. And a lot of times, even when they do the POV switch in the book, nobody's saying like anyone's name and nobody's really referencing anything, so you again don't really know who's talking. So you're just kind of like, okay, this happened, I have some information, who's it from, who was talking, who was involved, I don't know. And that's just kind of how it is throughout like the entirety of the book, which is insane. But like, I want to get to, and I'm excited to read it. There are 10 books total in this series, and these are just the first 3, so I do plan on getting the rest of the series of the Broken Binding whenever they come out. And I do have the standard paperback edition back there, but I do also want these special editions because they're stunning, they're beautiful, they're amazing. Next up, we have two special editions of Catabasis. This one is from, I want to say this is Illumicrate. I could be incorrect. Let me double check once I open it. But we have the slipcase. Oh God, this edition is literally so beautiful. It's so stunning. I love the naked hardcover. Yes, this is Illumicrate. Here are the end pages. Beautiful. Obsessed. I know. Oh, I'm obsessed. They're stunning. I do also have, I think it's the Waterstones edition. That one, again, I can't show you because it got sent to my parents' house, and I'm not going to be able to get it until Thanksgiving. And then I also have another edition from the Broken Binding, of course. Broken Binding is really, at this point, becoming my favorite place to get special editions, especially for fantasy. 10 out of 10. I don't think I bought any of their sci-fi yet, but they have amazing special editions. So here's the other one of Catabasis. The sprayed edges. Beautiful, I know. I just keep saying that. Beautiful, I know. Oh, another stunning naked hardback. Like, look at this. And then our end pages, also beautiful. I'm actually like so excited to finally get into this and read this. No, I have not finished Babel. We're getting to it. I'm hoping to finish it. You know what? I'm not even gonna tell you when I'm gonna finish it because I feel like I keep jinxing myself. I say, oh, I'm hoping to finish it at this point. Ooh, it's not gonna happen. Here's the reverse of the dust jacket. So you can do either or. I honestly, I forgot that I could reverse this. I think I might, because I think I like this other side even more. And I feel like it makes it obvious that it's like, well, granted, it's obviously special because the regular version of Catabasis is green, which I guess I can include this too. I got a standard edition of Catabasis from Barnes & Noble because I wanted to annotate, and I knew I would want to annotate, and the traditionally published, or the deluxe edition that got published first, it has sprayed edges, and I'm not gonna be able to see my tabs. And also, it's super heavy. I don't know if you've noticed, the standard edition without the sprayed edges, very light. The special edition, deluxe edition, heavy as hell. All right, last thing from the Broken Binding is this edition of Blood Over Brighthaven, which I just got in the mail. Also stunning. I have not read Blood Over Brighthaven yet. I do now have 3 copies of it because I have the indie edition right here, and I also have the like trad traditionally published hardback. So like I'm doing good. I didn't buy the traditionally published paperback. So, you know, a win's a win. The end pages. Other side. Stunning. The broken binding really does hit it out of the park like no other edition. I personally think. I think Illumicrate, it does very well, but like the broken binding, just amazing. And now two from Illumicrate, which I still haven't taken out of their plastic, but one is The Raven Scholar, angle that, The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. This is one that I started, I haven't finished yet, but she is also stunning, beautiful, stunning. Let me take it out of the plastic while I can. Ooh, yeah, this naked hardback is beautiful as well. I'm really obsessed with this like purple and pink. I think it's really pretty. And then our end pages. I don't know who anybody is because obviously I haven't read the book yet, but beautiful. I am really looking forward to this. I've heard nothing but good things about this, so I definitely want to get into it soon, but I feel like there's so many fantasies that I'm like, oh, I really want to read. So many old ones, so many new ones, so everything's just sitting here staring at me, and I'm like, I gotta pick one and like go. And the last one from Illumicrate is Thief of Night, which if you saw my Thief of Night vlog, you know I did not love this. And I honestly forgot that I bought this because I didn't pre-order a standard edition, which was an accident. I meant to, and then I didn't. I was like, okay, well, that worked out because I didn't like the book anyways, but I still have this. So I don't know. I'm back and forth on whether or not I want to keep this. This just has plain black sprayed edges. This is from, I think I mentioned Illumicrate. And I do have the Illumicrate edition of Book of Night. I don't know if you can see this, but that's the naked. I mean, the naked hardback is beautiful. I really do like it. Here's the end papers. Not much going on there, but it is very pretty. So who knows? I have 4 copies of Book of Night. That's how much like I really liked it, and I just dislike this one immensely. So maybe I'll keep it just for prosperity. We'll see. I don't know. And then I got 2 special editions that I think are just like re-releases. The first one is A River Enchanted by Miss Rebecca Ross, which is the first book in a series. I think it's not connected to Divine Rivals or anything. It's got the spine or the sprayed edges, and then the inside. Oh, this is pretty. It's got this little harp on the back too. And then the end pages are a map. It's the other side of map as well. Yep. Map on both. And then the inside of the dust jacket has kind of from the original cover. So this is very pretty. This is one that I also wanted to read. I know a lot of people said that like the writing from, what was it called? Wild Reverence. She has kind of the same sort of writing style in A River Enchanted. So I wanted to give that a shot. And then I have this special edition of Red Rising, which is so beautiful. The back looks like that. The front looks like this. This is our slipcase. Take it out of the slipcase. I'm obsessed. Oh my god. Look at that. Like, does this not just like make you want to read this book so badly? If I didn't already read it, I'd be obsessed. The sprayed edges aren't really much, just kind of continue on the coloring from the cover. And then we've got our end pages with the solar system, front and back. This is so pretty. I can't even. This is stunningly, beautifully stunning, stunning, stunning. Amazing. That's going on my shelves. And then last up for special editions, I have Iron Prince and Fire and Song, both from Wraithmark. These are both massive books. But this is an indie published, like, is it cyberpunk? Is it considered cyberpunk? I don't know. But it was very popular online. I bought these so long ago, and they like finally came in like a month or 2 ago. But like, this is what the naked hardback looks like, front and back. We have our end pages. Ugh. She's hefty, let me tell you. And this is just book 1. Then book 2, cover, the back. And then the naked hardback kind of has the same thing as the first one, but it's just, you know, black and gray, front and back. Our end pages. This is actually giving me an upper body workout right now. And that's it for special editions. Next up, we have some secondhand books. I have been selling a lot of my books on Pango. And so I've been buying a lot of things through Pango. So I've got like a full stack here of pretty much everything I've gotten through Pango. I love Pango because at this point for me, it just feels kind of like a book swap. Like I sell some books and then I buy some books, and that's just kind of how it is. So first up, I bought two Ellen Hildebrand books, Winter in Paradise and The Five Star Weekend. Now, full disclosure, I do own both of these in hardback, but I have come to realize I am not a hardback girly. So I feel like a lot of times when I feel like I want to read a book, I try and filter out the hardbacks that I have and just get the paperbacks. And I've put the hardback over in the unhaul pile. And because I bought these secondhand, I don't feel as bad. So I'm going to sell the hardback and now I've purchased the paperback. So it's, it offsets, I feel like. I'm not buying two copies, technically. And then I have The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy. This is the winner of the Booker Prize. This is one that I've wanted to read for a while. I've heard it's very sad. You know me, I love a sad book. So I picked this one up. And then I also have Cleopatra and Frankenstein, which is by Coco Melors, who also wrote, The Blue Sisters, which I got through Book of the Month. I haven't read either of these yet, but I've heard they're really good. And I heard someone say that if you liked My Year of Rest and Relaxation, you'd like this. So I'm giving it a shot. And I did really enjoy My Year of Rest and Relaxation. So I don't know how it'll match up, but I already own one other book by the author, so I figure why not. And then Talking at Night by Claire Daverly. I'm pretty sure this is a romance, but so many people say it made them cry. So I'm always down for that. I love I love an emotional romance that's not just like, I feel like if it's more literary, I'm behind it. Because typically I don't tend to like sad romances, but if it's like if it leans kind of literary fiction, then I'm down for it. So I'm hoping it's that, and I feel like it is that. But we shall see. Yeah, Penguin Book Fiction. Yeah, I don't think this is considered romance. And then some other books I got because I was just on a binge to like get like sad books because like I really wanted to cry. Just because after I read The Kite Runner, that didn't make me cry, so I wanted something to get me to cry. So I bought The Stationery Shop by Marjan Kamali. This follows two young people who fall in love, but then they get separated because of a war in Tehran. And they're separated for years, and then I think once you find out like what keeps them separated and you follow them throughout the years, that like it gets really sad. So I'm hoping this one gets me to cry. And then I also bought Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I've seen this one everywhere, and I feel like you probably have also. This is very popular. It's basically like people sit down at this coffee shop, and then I guess you can talk to someone who's passed. So you can pick like, a dead relative, a spouse, whatever, and you get to talk to them until your coffee gets cold. And then once it does, I guess you have to leave or the conversation ends. So I can see how this would be sad. So I would like to read this one. And then I also have I Fell in Love with Hope, which I think takes place in I think it follows like a group of kids who are terminally ill in this like hospital ward, which again sounds sad as hell. I feel like it's kind of giving, or at least to me, it kind of feel like it's giving The Fault in Our Stars-esque, or something like, what is that, 5 Feet Apart, which I don't think I ever watched that movie or read that book, but I feel like it's giving that vibe. So wanted to give it a shot, and I really like this cover. And then last up for secondhand books, kind of, the Reformatory by Tananarive Due. Tananarive Due is a very popular horror author, and this is I think this is one of her most popular books. And this follows a 12-year-old boy who gets sent to the reformatory in Jim Crow South. He's a black boy, obviously, and just kind of the horrors he endures while there. And I saw her do an interview, and she was talking about, I think it was her like great uncle or her great great uncle was actually who this is based off of, and Robert Stevens Jr. And in the real world, his story is actually much sadder to how it ends than when it does in the book. And she said that by making this a horror, she was actually able to make it like less horrific, which is insane to think that her writing this into a horror story, it's actually less horrific than what the actual things that happen to these boys in this reformatory. So I am excited to give this a go. It is a long one, but I'm excited to see how I like it. This will be my first Tananarive Due as well. And then technically, I guess, a secondhand book. I have Fox by Joyce Carol Oates, and I'm sure you can tell this is in a wrapping because this is from my library. And this is from library. However, this is officially mine now because if you look here at the bottom of the book, you do see kind of like this brown stuff kind of in the corner. Yeah, I had a cup with Coke in it and it was leaking and I didn't notice and it got on the book. So I did have to buy the book because I did unfortunately damage it just a bit. I don't think I damaged anything that like I have to read. Like it was just kind of the end pages and then it kind of like the last few chapters you can kind of see it in the corner. But it's still completely readable. But I think since it did get into the spine a bit and on the cover, they're like, yeah, unfortunately we're gonna have it. I think because I got soda on it specifically. If it was water, they probably would have let it go. But because it was soda, I did have to buy it. But this is now mine. It's my secondhand book. It's in great condition. And I will say, at least for my library, a lot of their books are in pretty great condition. So I will give them that. I feel like even though it was such a small spill, they do keep a lot of their books in pretty like great condition. So, you know, I'm out $32, but I get this book now. And I did really want to read this. I was super excited to read this, but my loan came up. So I'm excited. It's at least a book that I was like super excited to read. So like it's mine now. I'm probably gonna find a way to take off the protective covering. Maybe we'll see how I feel if I'm feeling lazy. But Fox by Joyce Carol Oates. All right, we have the last 3 books here. Oh, I believe. Oh, wait, we have 4 books. Let me go grab the other one. All right, last 4 books here. First up, we have Nocticadia by Carrie Lake, which I bought. I think, did I buy it in that video where I read Mate? I think so. I don't know. I bought it either during that video or right after that video. This is a dark academia spicy romance. And I was just kind of in the mood for like more paranormal romance, and I'm pretty sure this is, or I feel like it was giving me the vibe that I wanted. So I picked this one up, and I've heard good things about this because like some of the other ones, I don't know how to feel about them, but I've heard a lot of people say that this one was really, really good. So I picked it up. I wanted to see if it lives up to my expectations. And then I bought Elena Knows by Claudia Pinheiro. This is one that Jack Edwards said like made him cry, like made him weep. And I've already stated I love a sad book. I pretty much live by Jack Edwards' recommendations, so like I'm down to read it. So I'm excited to get into this. It's also quite short, so this would be a pretty easy read. So I'm excited to get into this. And now apparently this is going to be a Netflix movie, which annoyed that this is on here. But who knows? Maybe I'll watch this after reading the book. Probably not, because I'm not great at watching adaptations, but we have the option. And then I did finally buy Interview with the Vampire. This is so, so popular. I've been seeing so many edits of the TV show. I think season 3 is about to come out. And just seeing like Louis and Lestat together and Armand and all of their bullshit, it has made me want to read the series so badly. And I know I don't think this book is really super lines up with the show. I haven't watched the show. I've literally just been seeing edits on TikTok, and that's literally all that made me want to read this. So I'm definitely excited to get into this and see if it lives up to what I want. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see. But I know this series is like 10, 14, 16 books long. It's pretty long. It's out there. I'm pretty sure we stopped following Louis as the main character after like I'm pretty sure probably after like this book or the next book. But I still want to read it, and this is such a like classic of, I don't even know, the fantasy paranormal genre, so definitely one that I want to read. And then finally, our last book is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Everyone and their mother is reading this over on TikTok. Like, I have seen so many videos of people saying they're picking up The Count of Monte Cristo. They love The Count of Monte Cristo. It's their favorite book of all time. And I want to read it finally. I'm currently reading Anna Karenina. I have been for over a year now, but I'm putting in a vested effort to really get it done before the end of the year. And I've decided that for next year, I want another like big classic to take pretty much the entire year to read. And I've decided that's going to be The Count of Monte Cristo, because this is the revenge story that everyone says. Our main character is framed for a crime he did not commit. He gets sent to jail for years, and when he gets out, he decides to get revenge on everyone who plotted to get him sent there. So I'm so excited to get into this. I know so many people are like, it's so good. And I don't know if you've heard the TikTok sound where it's like, is it ever that serious? Like what story are you telling? And everyone's always like, it simply is that serious. Like The Count of Monte Cristo, it is that serious. Every page is worth it. And while this is like 1,200 pages, yeah, well over 1,200 pages, they're like, every page is worth it. It is so much fun. Like, you're gonna love it. So I'm excited to get to this next year. I kind of want to pick it up now, but I really do need to focus on Anna Karenina and getting that done. But this is last book of the haul, and I've already got it all tabbed out, all my sections. So this is one I'm excited to get to in the new year. All right, those are all the books for my haul, I believe. Who knows? I may have missed something. I may be forgetting something else that I didn't put out here. But for the most part, I think that is it. I hope you enjoyed seeing my haul. If you think there's anything that like I need to make a priority to really get to soon, or there's anything you're like, you saw I picked up and you're like, don't even bother. Like, I know I see what you like. Don't even get a shot. Also, let me know. Don't want to waste my time, you know? But please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.